welcome aboard the Nemesis. We're going to be playing with the Carnomorphs today. So the Carnomorphs are a new type of alien. These guys are really tough. They basically evolve from eating things. So they start out as a little harmless kind of meta-gorer here. So this guy's going to come out and he's going to basically infect people and he's going to eat stuff. And when he eats stuff, he's going to then evolve into a shambler. So one of these guys. And then once he's evolved into that, he'll keep on eating until he turns into one of these guys, the flesh beasts. I always think he looks like he's given the finger. So yeah, he'll come out into play. And then if you have the unfortunate... if you're not able to stop these guys from eating, you're going to get the main guy out, which is the butcher. And you don't want to get this guy coming out because he's pretty unstoppable. The main difference from the base game here is that these aliens evolve. On their board, they actually have adaptations rather than weaknesses. These guys actually get stronger as the game goes on. So they can be... They can be faster, they can avoid damage, they can regenerate stuff, they can be fire resistant. There's a bunch of different things these guys can do. These guys have their own attack cards, they have their own event deck, they can mutate characters. So, we're going to be playing a co-op here, solo co-op. I have just chosen 3 random adaptations for the Carnomorphs. So, we'll see if I can beat these guys. We are playing as the Medic. So the Medic is one of the characters from the first Kickstarter, from the Aftermath expansion here. So the Medic, here she is here. I've not played the Medic before, so we'll see how she does. She's going to be joined with by the Mechanic. So these 2 guys, their mission is simple. They have to achieve 2 of these objectives. So, firstly, they have to do the special delivery. So they've got to finish the game in the escape pod or hibernation with an intruder egg object. So they've got to do that. So they've got to get an intruder egg and get off the ship or get into the hibernation area and clean up crew. So we can choose to either send the signal and the nest must have been destroyed, or we can send the signal and the ship must have been destroyed. So from playing this game before, the latter of these 2 is actually the easiest. So I'm going to try and plan to get the Mechanic and the Medic an egg from the nest. So I've got to find the nest somewhere on the board and get them into the escape hatch with that egg in one of the escape pods. Problem is, this ship is old and it's falling apart. So we have got 15 rounds to do this in before the ship goes into hyperspace. If the ship takes too much damage, it will blow up and the ship will be destroyed, which is what we're going to try and do. We're going to try and sabotage the ship. If the ship is going to the wrong place from the bridge, it will also get lost in space, which is also how we can destroy it. If there's too many fire tokens placed, too many malfunction tokens, then the ship blows up. We don't want the ship to blow up until we're safely off the ship. So, without further ado, let's get into Nemesis with the Carnomorph expansion. So, for the Medic, we draw the first 5 cards here. She has got some computer skill cards, so she can open or close one door in a corridor connected to the room we're in. And she can also, if she's in a room with a computer, she can use the action without paying its cost. That's pretty handy. She also has the interruption card. For the co-op solo mode, interruption is basically just a card to use for other actions. If you're playing the game as it's intended, you'll be using this to stop other characters from doing things. So we're just going to be using that to move around and do other things there. Demolition, everyone's got these. It's to destroy closed doors or place malfunction markers on places. ER, this is special to her, so that icon up there means she cannot actually use this in combat. Spend 1 ammo from the needle gun and choose any 1 character in the room you're in. This character gets 1 contamination card in their discard pile and discards 1 action card from their hand, or this character draws 3 action cards to their hand. So this could be a good or a bad thing. We're probably going to be using it for the latter. And then field dressing. This is also something new. specific just to her. Heal all light wounds or dress one serious wound of any one character in the room you're in. Then draw a card if you're in a green room. Now she's starting out with the space cat. Plot-wise, the cat is actually important in this game because the cat is the reason we have Carnomorphs on here. There was a ship's cat on board the Nemesis, and what happened is basically it didn't get into the hibernation chamber, and when this went into hyperspace, it went straight into a sample of kind of alien DNA, and now it's kind of morphed into this Carnomorph creature. You'll notice in the hibernation chamber we have just a dead body in there. That is one of our colleagues. That was the soldier, but he is dead. We've woken up from hypersleep and found out the soldier's dead. And now we need to do these two objectives. So, you've seen the card she's got. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to start moving around the ship. We're going to try and find the nest as quickly as possible, and also the comms room. The comms room is a place we're going to be sending the signal from. Now, we only need to send one signal, and we only get one egg. So if we can find the nest, if we can find the comms room, then great. We're one step closer to actually achieving the victory. We're also going to try and get ourselves to the cockpit. The cockpit is going to be where we're able to change the destination of where we're going. It's the easiest way to sabotage this ship. The next thing we have to do is find the hatch, which is going to open up one of the escape pods, and then get an escape pod and escape. Okay, so the medic. First thing she's going to do, we're just going to discard her ER card to move one space. So we're going to move down here. We're going to split the guys up, because what bad things ever happened in a horror movie when you split up? So the first room she encounters is the hatch control system, where you can lock and unlock one escape pod. Perfect. That's a great start for us here. But the exploration token reveals that it is broken. Top icon means there are 3 items on board, and we can search a room. As it's a white room, it can be any type of item in here, but it is broken at the moment, so we are going to have to repair that. We set the room, we spin it around so it's up to 3, and we put a damaged marker on there. We now also have to roll the noise dice, and we got a 3, so we have noise up this way here. As she doesn't have a search card, we are going to get her to move into the next room, the one where the noise was coming from. So we are going to use her, just discard her demolition card to move her up here. And we find the surgery, perform a surgery procedure. And it is also broken. Now if we can't place any more of these malfunction tokens, then basically the game ends, so that's not good. There is one item in this room. We'll now roll the noise dice to see whether we woke anything up, and it was a 3, which is not good, because that basically means we just woken something up. First round. Great start, Adam. So we will be drawing from the Nemesis bag, which has all of our tokens in there, and we are going to find, it's got a warning of 2, and we found a Metagorger. This creeper Metagorger comes out, and he's not very happy that we're on his ship. He doesn't get to do a surprise attack against me because his warning value says 2 on there, and she currently has 3 cards. Okay, so now we have the mechanic. First card he's got is a search card, so he can basically search a room. This is one of his special cards, Technical Corridors. He's one of the only guys who has this. He can use a room with a Technical Corridor entrance. Move your character to any other room with a Technical Corridor entrance. You must pass after this action. So this is going to be a good way to get him at the front of the ship so he can change the coordinates. Next thing, computer skills. So open or close doors, and you can also use a room's action without paying the cost. He's got demolition, so he can blow up doors or break things. He also has an interruption card as well, so he can use that just for moving around in the purposes of this particular game. So we're going to spend that interruption card straight away, and we're going to move our mechanic into this area, and we find the cabins. Somewhere to catch your breath. But the cabins The cabins were just full of this horrible slime, which unfortunately draws the Metagorges towards the Carnomorphs, towards the mechanic. So there's 4 items in this room, which is pretty cool, because that means there's lots of things we can find in here. Unfortunately, though, this character has been slimed. Slime is not good because, like I say, it's going to be drawing creatures towards this character, and when he's rolling noise rolls, which he's going to do just now, normally when you roll a noise roll and you get the X on the noise dice, that's a good thing. It basically means you don't hit, nothing is heard, but this is basically treated as one of those. It basically means you put noise everywhere. So we roll the noise dice, and we get a 4, so you have a noise thing there. The next action I'm going to do is I'm going to search. So that is just, it only costs this card to do this. So I reduce this by 1, and I get to draw 2 cards of any deck that I like. I'm going to go straight for the yellow deck, because this is this guy's kind of forte here. And he finds, in the yellow deck, he finds some clothes, so he can discard the slime marker or dress a serious wound. And then Nemesis plans, check any 2 unexploded rooms. I don't think I'm going to need the Nemesis plans, but I am going to need those clothes, so he's going to grab that. Okay, so we have found this Metagorgia in this room. Do I try to attack it? Or do I try to run? I think we're going to try and attack this. So I'm going to spend the interruption card. I'm going to discard that to shoot. So I'm rolling this dice here. I want to get anything but a blank. Here comes a blank. Oh, 2 hits. So I've done 2 damage to this Metagorgia. I draw the top Carnomorph attack card. And I look at the value here. It is more than 1. So that's basically the top one here is how many health the Metagorges have. And everything else has this value here. So I've just killed my first alien. So this guy goes. He does, however, leave us a little present. He's left a carcass token behind. So she has got computer skills, and she's got field dressing. So we're going to move her. We're going to move her back into the hatch with a field dressing. So she's moving into this room. We roll the noise dice. So 1. So we place a noise token back towards the hibernation area there. Okay, that's her 2 actions. So the mechanic has got these technical corridors. So we're going to do that straight away. We're going to just use this, and we're going to discard another card. So we're going to discard the demolition card and this technical corridor card to move to the other side of the ship. So we have moved him over into this room here. It's going to end his go, him using technical corridors, because it takes him a bit of time to get through there. So he's going to have to pass after. He's found the laboratory. So in here you can analyze objects. Doesn't really do much in this particular version. And one of the doors closes behind him. He went to the technical corridor, so I'm not quite sure what we do in this instance. The 3 items, I'll switch that. And I'm just going to close the door that is the most convenient for me, which is going to be this door leading there. So with that, the medic is going to pass, and the mechanic had to pass. So now we go on to the event phase. It's now the event phase. We move the time tracker and self-destruct track. Self-destruct is not currently activated, so we're just going to move the time track by 1. And now it's the intruder attack and feeding. There are no intruders on the board, so we don't have to worry about this step. Fire damage, there is no fire. Resolve event card. So we draw an event card. Like I say, the Carnomorphs have their own event deck here. So shuffle this up and draw the first one, and it is stalking. So this top thing up here means these two creatures move. We don't have either of these on the board. Move all shamblers, first beast, and the butcher to any neighbouring room with a character, if any. There are several rooms possible. Move the Carnomorph to the room with the lowest number. This event doesn't do anything to us, which is nice. We now do the intruder bag development. what we do here is we basically just draw from this bag. And we have this. So when you get a blue Metagorgia, perform a noise roll in order, remove the token, add 1 red Metagorgia token to the bag. So add a red Metagorgia token to the bag. And noise roll in order. So the first player was a medic. So the medic does a noise roll. She got a 2, which places this down there. The mechanic, as a second player, he rolls his noise. And he got noise everywhere. Now, I should have actually rolled for noise when he moved into the corridor. So I'm going to roll 1 for what he should have done, which is a 1. So he should have had 1 go into the technical corridor to begin with. And then that one I just rolled puts noise everywhere else around him. Okay, so the first player token moves over to the mechanic. Mechanic draws up to 5 cards. Okay, so the mechanic, he has fast repairs, so he can discard malfunction markers in the room he's in, or he can repair, break the engine. He has ingenuity, which is awesome. He can also repair something, also break the engine. He can also craft items. You can use any yellow item as this. He can search in a room, and he can rest. He already has the computer skills, which we had last turn. He does need to rest. He does have slime on him, so the first thing we're going to do for this turn is we're going to use the clothes to remove the slime marker, and we're going to get rid of his rest card to do that. Okay, next we are going to move him. So mechanic goes into there. We then roll the noise dice and don't get a 3. Of course, we get a 3. So we remove this. And we draw a token from the bag. At the moment, they're only going to be the little Carnomorph thing. So, oh, it's a blank one. So if we draw a blank, we place noise in every corridor that is adjacent. Okay, that's the mechanic's turn. We now move over to our medic. 5 cards for the medic this turn. She has Pharmacist. Heal 1 dressed serious wound or any one character in the room you're in, then draw a card if you're in the green room, or dress 1 serious wound of any one character in the room you're in, then draw a card if you're in the green room. So you can either heal a dressed wound or dress a serious wound. She can search this round, and she has another search. She can rest, which is how you scan your contamination cards. And she can make a repair. Now, she's in the hatch control system at the moment, so she is 100% going to repair. So we're going to discard the repair card and the rest card to repair the hatch. She is then going to spend 2 cards, discard these 2 cards, to use the room action to open up one of the airlocks, one of the escape pods even. So we've now unlocked 1 escape pod. Okay, so the mechanic, he is in the bridge, so we are going to use his discard 2 of these cards to basically get him to use the bridge, check out where they're going. It's currently on a route for deep space, so that's perfect. We want it to head towards deep space because we want to destroy this ship. So great, it's going towards deep space. Excellent. I'm now going to pass with him, and I'm also going to pass with the medic. So that's the end of this round. Okay, so we're back to the event phase. We moved the time tracker down, so now we're on T-minus 13 minutes till the whole place blows up. Now, we have the intruder attack and feeding, but we don't have any intruders on the board, so we don't have to worry about this. Next, fire damage. No fire, so we don't have to worry about that. Now we resolve the event card. Ramp mutation. All characters draw 4 cards from their action deck and scan each contamination card drawn. So if there are at least 1 infected result, the character gets a mutation marker. Discard all drawn cards. Now we don't actually have to worry about this at the moment, but we're still going to have to do the drawing element of this. So we'll start with the the mechanic, so he has to discard pyrotechnics, and then I have to shuffle what else he had in his hand. So he has to discard rest, interruption, and search. The medic, she draws 4 cards, so computer skills, ER, demolition, and her interruption, so they're also discarded now. And we find a Metagorger. So when we find a Metagorger, we return this token to the bag, place a Metagorger in each room with a heavy object and or a Metagorger. Now, on the board, we currently have 2 heavy objects. We have the corpse that's in here, and do you remember we had that carcass token? So we have a carcass token in here, that was the Metagorger we killed, and we're placing a Metagorger in the same room as that carcass. So medic's turn now then, they have, will draw their cards up. So they've already got a search card, which they held on to. And then they have another search, a repairs, a rest, and a field dressing. So we can spend another 2 actions in here to open up the other escape pod. I think we're going to do that at this point, just in case. So we're going to just discard the rest, and we're going to discard a search. Discard these 2 cards to use the hatch to unlock the other escape pod. Some events actually cause these escape pods to get jettisoned. Also, whilst I'm in this room, I may as well do it because it just helps me in the end game here. We're now going to move carefully with her, move cautiously. So we're going to discard her. That was the first action to do that. The second action, she's going to discard these 2 cards, and she's going to move down because she's quite close to those Metagorgers. So she's going to move down into this space here. Now, when you move cautiously, you're going to have to place a noise token, but you get to choose where it goes. And we have discovered the comms room where we send the signal. And of course it is broken. So there are 2 items in here. It's broken. We don't roll for noise. Because we move cautious, we get to place this somewhere. So we're going to place this in this corridor here because we're not aiming to go into the engine room at all. Next up, we have my man, the mechanic. So we draw his cards. He's already got ingenuity from the last game. He's got his technical corridors back. He's got fast repairs, demolition, search. Yeah, he's doing well. So we're going to move him down this way. And he discovers the emergency room. And there's no noise to roll. So there's 1 item in here. And no noise. Now, I've chosen that particular room because it has a technical corridor associated with it. So I can use that technical corridor with his next card. So his technical corridor, and we're going to use his fast repair card to teleport over the other side of the board. So we're going to go all the way up here. So he climbs through here. I must remember to do a noise roll. A door closes. So we're going to close off, why not? Let's close off this door here. We flip this over. It's evacuation section A. So this is where we need to be if we want to get into the escape pod that's been unlocked, that is here. So this is where we need to get to with the egg. And there's 1 item on here. So it's not broken, which is great. I mean, I could get in there now if I wanted to. But I'm not going to because we still got plenty to get done. We roll for noise, and we got 4, which is what we didn't want because 4 is the technical corridor. We already had a noise in the technical corridor, so something is going to appear. Wanting it to be blank, but we'll see. We got a Metagorger. Now, because it's a warning of 3, that basically means the mechanic had to have 3 cards, otherwise it gets a surprise attack. So this Metagorger appears, it gets a surprise attack. Now, those Metagorgers are different from other aliens because when they appear, they don't draw an attack card, they basically just disappear. Their token is removed from the bag, and I add a Shambler token to the bag. These are the next, the kind of evolution here. So a Shambler is going to get added to the bag now. The mechanic suffers 1 light wound. They get a contamination card. One of these. That gets added to the top of their discard pile. And they also get the new mutation cards. So, shuffle these up. There's 2 mutation cards, and I get to choose which one I want to keep. When you're playing a competitive game, you don't actually have to show what they are. So the first one is adaptation. Discard the mutation card, draw 3 mutation cards, keep 1, discard the others. Or discard the mutation card, draw a mutation card, and keep it. And then regenerative tissue. Heal any one of your serious wounds, even if it's undressed. Dress one of your serious wounds, or heal any one of your dressed serious wounds. So basically, how this works, you get these character mutations. Every time you use them, you're going to be adding a mutation marker to your character. If you ever have 4 mutation markers, you're dead. That's it. Basically, your body is ripped asunder and a Shambler appears. So it's not especially good using these things, but they do really help you out. I'm going to go for the regenerative tissue. So to use that, I would have to have a contamination card in my hand. I would then scan that on my turn, and if it was infected, I would get to the top thing, not infected, the bottom thing. It's now the medic. The medic is going to pass. The mechanic is also passing. The event phase now, so I move down the tracker from 13 to 12. And now, for the first time, we do the intruder attack and feeding. So, when you are feeding, basically, if there is an intruder in the Metagorgia in the same room as a body, you remove the body. You remove the Metagorgia. And instead, you replace it with a Shambler. Now, the first time a Shambler comes out, you get a new Carnomorph adaptation card. So this affects every single Carnomorph. They have a genetic malfunction. If a Carnomorph attack misses, it deals 1 contamination card instead. These guys are really going to mess around with your DNA now. So that applies to all of them. We don't get any more Carnomorph adaptations come out until a Shambler eats something else to turn into a flesh beast. We also have this guy down here and the carcass token, so he eats the carcass. He goes, and we have another Shambler has appeared in the surgery. So there's no fire. We go to the event phase. Okay, so we got some movement. So these Shamblers move down corridor 3. So this guy's moving towards the hatch control. This Shambler is going down here and into whatever this room is. In each room with a carcass token. Right, we don't have any carcasses anywhere on the board. So, yeah, that's fine. Now we draw from the bag. And we get a Metagorgia token. So we turn that token to the bag and we put Metagorgias in each room with a heavy object. And or Metagorgia, but there's none on the board, so we don't have to worry about that just yet. Now to the player turn. So, no contamination card this time. He's got a search card, a pyrotechnics, a search, a computer skills, and ingenuity, which he had last turn. So, we're going to search whilst we're in here. So, reduce this counter down to 0. There's nothing left in there. And we're going to go for yellow again. So, we draw 2 yellow items to get to keep 1. So, we found duct tape. And we found another technical corridors ability. So we're just going to get the duct tape because that comes in handy for repairing stuff, and there's probably going to be a lot more to repair on this as we go around. We're going to use his computer skills to open this door. So we're drawing her cards now. She's got a farmer's card, so all her pharmacy action, a repairs, a field dressing, a computer skills, and ER. Okay, so the comms room, we do need to repair this, and we have a repair card. So we're going to use that repair card with the pharmacist card to discard the comms room malfunction. We're then going to... Oh, excellent. So the comms room has a computer icon on here. This little blue thing here. And we have computer skills, which basically means we get to, in a room with a computer, use its room action without paying its cost. Perfect. So we've sent the signal. We are one step closer to victory. So now we just have to find the nest and steal an egg and get it to an escape hatch. We're going to use a search card to move him one space into this room here. And it is the nest! Amazing. The nest is broken, but we don't have to worry about the broken or the 2 on here because it is the nest. Now, the nest is a very special place because it's where we need to get to. The nest, however, has a slight issue in the fact that it has a fair few eggs in there. If you're wondering why the eggs look different to the tokens that come with the game, I'm using the terrain expansion for this. It comes with the door tokens, sorry, the door, these things, the escape pods. It comes with the character corpse you saw earlier, and these eggs as well. I have to roll a noise now. That is very handy. I could potentially win this game very soon. So, I got a 4 for my noise. I'm going to spend 2 cards to pick up that egg. So I pick up an egg, that's no problem, but I then have to do a noise roll. Because obviously they're not very keen on us picking eggs up. And I got a 1. Oh, amazing. So 1 means I place it over there. Which means I'm pretty much home free. I'm very close to doing this. The medic's passing and we'll get round to the event phase. We now do the Carnomorph feeding, but there's nothing for them to feed upon at the moment. Right, so next I draw an event card. The event is... So, first of all the Shamblers move to the 1 space. So this guy's moving up here, whereas this guy is moving down off towards the cockpit there. Close all doors in corridors connected to rooms containing each character with a slime marker. Thankfully, we got rid of the slime marker, so we don't have to worry about that. Now, this is where the issue is going to come. This is where we're going to be drawing something from the back, and we don't want to be getting a Shambler. A red Metagorge is fine, but not a Shambler. So, let's take a look. And we drew a red Metagorger. So, you return this token to the bag, place a Metagorger in each room with a heavy object and or Metagorger. So, these guys love gorging on stuff. The eggs are heavy objects, so they're appearing there. Which basically means they get to attack the mechanic for free, so they disappear. Mechanic gets another light wound and another contamination card, which gets added to the top of his deck. First player token moves over to the medic. She draws 3 cards because she already has 2 on her. So we are going to use discard her demolition card to move her 1 space towards this room. We find this is storage. No good to man nor beast, and it is broken. So it truly is no good to anybody, but it does have some items in there. We don't really care about storage for the purposes of this game. Roll for noise. 2. That's the way we're going. We're then going to use 2 of her cards, the Interruption and ER, to move cautiously into the next room, which is the Armory. It has 2 items in it. And we place noise tokens all around, including the technical corridor, which might prove ill for our mechanic. Okay, so the mechanic draws his top 5 cards. And he's got the technical corridors, demolitions, fast repair, interruption, and rest. So we are going to move cautiously into the next area with interruptions and his rest card. So he's going to move into there. He is then going to use these two cards to get into the escape pod. I then have to roll a dice. If I get a 3, I'm happy. Oh wait, I moved cautiously, didn't I? Which means I had to place a token there. And then I've just rolled, it doesn't matter what I roll now, unless it's an X, sorry. So I got a 1, which means an intruder appears. So close. And the intruder he finds is a Metagorger. So the Metagorger does a wound to him, which means he now has a serious wound on him. He draws a body. You draw up to 4 action cards instead of 5. So that isn't very nice for him. He gets another contamination card as well. He's fairly contaminated at this point. Okay, so the medic, she is going to spend her 2 cards to move cautiously into this space here. And this is the airlock control, start emergency airlock procedure. This is quite fun. You can zap people out into space. But it's on fire. Okay, so we place a fire token down. As she has ended her round in there, she basically takes the damage. She has no cards left. She's got to pass, and the mechanic is also passing. Okay, so we're on to 10 minutes left. We're going to get out the next fire damage happens for any intruders which are in here, but there's no intruders in there, so there's no issue there. We draw the next event card, which is Airlock Procedure Glitch. Start the emergency airlock procedure in the yellow number with the yellow room with the highest number. Sorry, I've got to do this first. So these guys move to 2. So this guy's moving up towards there. And the Shambler that is down there, he disappears off the board. And we place a Shambler token into the bag. I just remembered I didn't add a Shambler token in when I've attacked the mechanic the last 2 times, I believe, with Carnomorph. So I've just added some extras into there. Okay, so airlock procedure, start the emergency airlock procedure in the yellow room with the highest number. I've got a horrible feeling that's where she is. Yes, so the airlock procedure happens. She is in room number 8. There are no other yellow rooms revealed on the Nemesis so far that are of a higher number. There's the comms room. And wait, are we lucky? Yes, comms room is 16. So the comms room is about to be, anyone who's in there is about to be sucked out into space. Now we're doing intruder bag development. We got a red Metagorger. So return this token to the bag, place a Metagorger in each room with a heavy object and or Metagorger. Ugh, too bad. So 1's placed in there, and we place 1 in here with him. Does the damage to the mechanic. He gets another contamination card. We add another Shambler token to the bag. There we go. And that is that. Mechanic draws only 4 cards this turn. We need at least 2 cards. So the first card he pulls is a contamination card. We need at least 2 cards which are not contamination cards. And we got it. We got interpretation, an interruption, a rest, and a fast repairs. He's using his rest and fast repairs to discard those. And he gets into the the escape pod. And we now roll the noise dice, which he got that, which means we place noise all around. And at this point, we get to decide if we're going to evacuate with him. We are going to evacuate with him, so he is going to escape straight away. He's got the egg. he's got, yeah, he's done it. But we've still got the medic on board. So we just have to hope we can find that other escape pod. The mechanic has doomed her here. So we definitely complete the game. She draws rest and search, and then she draws pharmacist, interruption, and field dressings. So we're going to move her one space using her interruption card. So she moves into here, and we find the canteen, and the canteen is broken. Place a cog on there. Do a noise roll. A 4, so there's noise coming out from this way, which is actually where she's going. So she's definitely going to trigger something this time. She's going to use her rest to move into this room. We want this to be escape pod B. It is evacuation section B, amazing. And there's noise all around it, but so wait, cotton picking minute. So you don't perform a noise roll. If there's an intruder in the neighbouring room, they move into that room. So yeah, so basically she is just in there. So we're going to try and escape now. Okay, here we go. We've got to be very lucky on the pull we get. So, pull out. Oh, we got a shambler. It's a shambler with a 2 on it, a warning of 2, so he doesn't attack straight away. But there is a shambler in here, which means she didn't quite get to escape. She's only got 1 ammo as well, so this doesn't bode well for her. Now, the great thing about her needle gun is the weapon makes intruders retreat instead of dealing injuries. If only I'd read that at the beginning of the game when I killed off that Carnomorph. Never mind. So yeah, this basically will make this intruder retreat if I manage to hit him. So she is spending she spent 2 actions then, 2 cards to try and use the escape pod. She's now going to use her last card, the field dressing, and she's spending her last ammo to try and shoot this guy. And she got a hit. So she hits him, and it deals damage. I've got to pull this out anyway. He's got 5 hit points, but instead of deal damage, he retreats. So we're going to move him into the bridge. She's no cards left. She's out of ammo. The medic is so close to escaping the Nemesis. So we move down to turn number 9. We do the feeding. There's no feeding to do. There's no fire damage. We just draw out the next event card and hope it's something good. So, okay, so none of them move. In each room with a carcass token, not in a character's hand. 1 shambler if there was a character in any of these rooms perform. Okay, so yeah, so these guys don't appear. We then draw a token from here, from the bag, and we get. Let's have a look. Now draw a token from the bag, and we get a red Metagorger. So we put a Metagorger into the egg room. Oh, I forgot about a little chap over there. So there was a Metagorger already in that room. This Metagorger ate an egg, and he changed himself into a shambler. Okay, so she's going to draw her last cards. And she's going to discard 2 of these cards to make a noise roll to escape. Noise all around, but she gets into evacuation section B. And she is also escaping the Nemesis. Okay, so that was the Carnomorph expansion. It wasn't too difficult that time around, mainly because I was very lucky with where things were placed. The medic was, I liked the needle gun. The needle gun's pretty cool, that it retreats people rather than killing them, because actually killing monsters in this game, or the aliens, is pretty tough. I do have to check to see if I've actually won, though, because we've got a contamination check. So each alive character checks their contamination cards. If there's a mutation card next to the character's board, the player skips steps A and resolves steps B. Okay, so step B is if the player has a mutation card next to their character's board, that player shuffles all their cards to create a new action deck, then draws the top 4 cards. For each contamination card drawn this way, character gets 1 mutation marker. If I have 4, they die. So I'm going to shuffle all my cards together. Do this on camera for you. So shuffle all these together, and if I get 4 contamination cards, I've died. Oh, 2. I did it! So I've successfully defeated the Carnomorphs. So that was Nemesis by Awaken Realms, the Carnomorph expansion. I really enjoyed it. One thing I would say, however, is that I find Nemesis is best played when you are playing semi-cooperatively, when you have other players with you and you're not quite sure what their goals are and they're not quite sure what your goals are. Your goal might be to make sure the ship survives. Their goal might be to kill you. So yeah, it's quite interesting when you're playing like that, and I feel that's the best way to play Nemesis. The Carnomorph expansion, I cannot wait to play this semi-cooperatively, because I think that the base game, the intruders in there, they're tough, and when you come across them, it's very difficult. But these Carnomorphs, I think they're going to be a lot more powerful, because when people die in this game, which you do get player elimination in Nemesis, their body is then going to basically be something else you've got to worry about. You're going to have a lot more bodies piling up, player characters and also aliens. A lot more fighting as well, maybe. I was sneaking around a lot, and the only reason I was doing that is because I knew what my objective was. When you're playing a semi-cooperative game, you all have a base objective that the ship must survive and that you must survive to win the game. But you're going to be working cross-purposes with somebody. You might send the mechanic down to the engine room to check that the engines are working, and you've got to trust that he's actually wanting this ship to survive, because if he goes down there and he checks those engine tiles, he might actually have a look and go, oh, the damaged one's on top, and tell you, oh, it's fine, this ship is perfectly fine. And you might set the coordinates correctly, you might get everything else right, get into the hibernatorium, and then wonder why the mechanic is suddenly getting into the escape pod and then jettisoning out, and then realise, to your horror, that he's actually sabotaged the ship. So yeah, I'm going to give this a go semi-cooperatively, and then do a bit of a comparison review between semi-co-op, solo, and co-op for the Carnomorph expansion. If you found any issues with this review, namely me, there was a couple of issues with it, with the rules I got wrong. I got the medic's weapon wrong to begin with, and also rolling the noise. If you get the danger symbol turn up, then any neighbouring intruders should move into the room where that noise was rolled. So I did play that wrong, so the medic probably would have got off, but she would have had to fight her way out. If you like this, though, please like and subscribe to our channels. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Until next time, stay safe and keep rolling.